The size of that thing. I don't know if it's really made of candy, but oh, it could be. The place is pretty hardcore fucking candy place. I was talking to someone in the comments yesterday. Was it Lieutenant Harkis? I don't know. I forget. It was someone. It was like a regular, a friend, you know, someone that's always around. And we were talking about like, what the fuck were we talking about? I guess I don't know anything about this. I just brought up something that I have no fucking knowledge of. Anyway, the conversation was something like, you know, it must be kind of a pain dealing with letter agencies watching you and bots and trolls and stuff. And yeah, letter agencies, sure, of course. I know exactly when they started watching too. But I'm not really sharing the information because I don't want them to know that I know. Because if they know that I know, then they'll know that I know when they know. And I don't want them adjusting things. It's a chess game. It's a chess game. I try to make it entertaining for them anyway. But the I don't have a lot of trouble with trolls. I mentioned to him that I think the only really troll comment I ever got in the years of doing this was that I was gay, you know, which is, you know, fucking point taken. I get it, you know. Not very manly looking, but the makeup and the fucking hairdos don't help, and all the jewelry. But the yeah, I've been lucky that I've always kind of got a lot of encouragement, and people are generally cool to me. The problem I do have is sometimes when I write, I have trouble communicating with people because I use a lot of dry humor and sarcasm, which I'm trying to get away from, because sarcasm is very much a hat culture thing, and I think it's just that I don't like it. Owen Benjamin had a great skit years ago about the Chinaman and the Jew. And there was a Jewish guy going to get his laundry from a Chinese launderer, and he was upset about the job he had done. Oh yeah, it's really great. I love when I get mustard stains still on my dry cleaning. And the Chinese guy is, why you want mustard stains on your dry cleaning? It just went on from there. It was pretty funny. I understand he's a fad and all that stuff, but he still has some funny stuff. I haven't watched him in years, but I'm sure he's up to some crazy shit. I dipped out on him when he started wanting people to dox themselves for the Great Bear Trail. He's like, yeah, give all your information of where you are and what you have, and like literally what they had for like food and stuff, if they had a garden, if they had guns, and this was all under the guise of so other bears can know if they're in your neck of the woods, they can pop by for a visit. And if you have guns, then you can go shooting. If you have a garden, you know, they can learn, you can teach, you know, your gardening methods, and they can share. And like I'm watching this, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And no one seemed to really, my alarm bells went off, but it didn't seem really to affect anybody else in that community. And then around that time, I started noticing like how, I don't want to say cultish, because that's kind of, that's, you know, I don't know, but that's what it was. It's cultish. Like, I got the, they had an app called the Bartaria Tons, which just had all these different news stories that he talks about on the show. And regardless of what kind of person he is and what his deal is as a grifter or whatever, I never really cared about that stuff. Like, I didn't care what was going on with him and his wife. It's the same thing with any kind of entertainer, I guess, in the same way with musicians. Like, I don't really care about their personal lives. Like, that stuff doesn't... Nice shirt, man. That's awesome. Those things don't have anything to do with why I listen to an artist or why I like them. So, it was kind of the same thing with him. I just, you know, I watched him just for entertainment value. I haven't watched him in years. Anyway, I think that fucking side tangent was going somewhere, and I got distracted by that Guns N' Roses shirt. Just as I'm talking about musicians I like, dude rocks by with a Guns N' Roses shirt. Yeah, I have a problem sometimes communicating. So a lot of times, if you notice, if you talk to me in the comments, I use a lot of smiley faces and laughing faces. I don't like doing that. It's very gay and teenagerish. But what it's saying is, this is a joke, or I'm kidding. Because, like, I've had people, like, take offense to things thinking I'm mocking them. I had that going on with a guy a couple months ago who fucking lost his mind on me when I went to his channel and mentioned, hey, you know, I ran down the things in common we had. And I said, are you me? You know, meaning, you know, we're very similar. And he took that as some kind of attack. It was this really weird thing that lasted a couple days, going back and forth with him and some of his guys. But I figured it out. I put it out. Usually what happens if someone comes in a combative way, not necessarily trolling, but just like, I get it from a lot of Christians, like, what is your deal? Like why are you? You know, like, what does Christian occultist mean, you know? And I had this recently with someone, and so I answered him like, yeah, it's just a Christian who also wants to be an edgelord, you know, joke, right? So they're like, why would you want to be an edgelord? And I'm like, oh boy. So I kind of explained to them my situation, but I always try to keep a sense of humor in there. And unfortunately, I do have to add a lot of smiley faces and laughing faces so that people understand it's a joke. The way to come together with someone is humor. And for the most part, anytime I've had someone show up with, like, in a combative stance, I kind of find a common ground with them, usually through humor. And I think that's a much better result than you know, going away from a situation like that with, you know, making an enemy. You know, it's ridiculous anyway. Like, I don't know them, they don't know me. You know, but yeah, it's always better. Not in a manipulative way, like, oh, I make them laugh. And no, it's more like I honestly want it to turn out good, so that there's like an understanding there, and then perhaps from there, you know, you can make friends. I've had that happen where I've had people that were not just with this channel, but before that, I ran a blog for many years. It wasn't like a popular one. It wasn't my area in the little scene I was in. It was a band blog that we used to do. And we used to run parties for a lot of the local bands, so we had a lot of, it got a lot of traffic among that little scene. And I developed sort of a style of writing, which is, you know, very dry. So I think, and I wrote for websites and stuff like that too, like rock websites and some other things over the years. And that style just kind of stuck with me. So when sometimes when I talk to people online, I'll use it. I'll just default to that. But it doesn't work with everybody, because the written word, it's hard to get dry humor across in the written word. Very hard. Sometimes it's hard in person. Certain people, like my friend Cheeto, she's from Zimbabwe. And when I was at her house staying there when our plumbing exploded, I was just talking to her one night about something, and I forget what it was, but I said something, and she's like, really? I'm like, no, I'm just kidding, that was a joke. She goes, you can't joke with me, though. I'm going to believe you if you tell me something. That is a cultural thing. Not even meaning, it actually is like it's a cultural thing. Here, it's like that kind of too. Here, a lot of locals don't understand or don't, you know, they're not used to sarcasm, they're not used to the dry humor thing. So you gotta be careful with that. You say the wrong thing, you get fucking punched in the face without meaning anything bad by it, because they think you're being insulting, you know. I'm pretty smart with that anyway. I don't try bantering much with people I don't know all that well. But when it comes to stuff online, like, it's very easy to be misconstrued. Hence the smiling faces and the laughing faces, and I don't like that. But what I got to do is figure out a way to still try to be a little irreverent, I guess, or humorous in some way, and not and explain it a little bit more. Although there's nothing funnier than explaining the joke. I understand. See, like that right there. Some people be like, no, it's just, when you explain the joke, it's not funny. I don't know. I'm fucked, I guess. I don't know. I'm just fucked. I can't. It's like this. I see other people do stuff like that too. And not like it's like on some sophisticated level, like it's too deep for you, but sometimes people will drop something like that is clearly satirical or clearly a joke. And I'll see people not understand and get mad about it. But I'll look at it and I'll really appreciate it. Because I think it's funny. So, the people that will get the joke, I think really do appreciate it. And they appreciate it more than the people that don't get the joke dislike it. So I think what I'm saying is status quo, I guess. Keep rolling. So I basically resolved nothing here. Which is usually the case here, but that's fine. There may be a level of mediocrity, but consistency is there too. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.